just put your hand up. We'll recognise you. We'll get to as many answers as we can. It would also be useful to let us know to whom you will be directing your questions. There is a mic in the centre aisle there towards the back. It would be useful if you'd use that so that we can all hear what you have to say. So, do we have any questions from the floor? I think we do. That looks like Mr. Totera.
Nigel, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Anthony Totera, Red Card Soccer Show. Question for Ron. Was the vote recorded?
I'll leave board business to board business, and I would just state that the board made its decision at the board level. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Any other questions from the floor?
Hi there, Mike Kenny from Cancel Ref Magazine and Inside Soccer Magazine. Under long-term player development, there's going to be no competitive games until these players get to that level. Can you tell me, the next few years you'll be okay with experienced referees, but in a few years from now, when those referees start to retire, what mechanisms are in place for younger referees to be doing competitive games that are expected to step into that league where clubs are paying a lot of money and players are paying a lot of money to be in there? They're going to be expecting top quality referees. So what mechanisms are in place to train the referees to put them in that development league?
Thank you, and a great question. Firstly, U12 and below, there still will be a lot of competitive soccer happening. So even though there won't be promotion and standings, every game will be competitive, and we'll be making sure that every player gets the best opportunity. In regards to referee development, that's a big component of the OPDL as well. We're working with our referee department currently, and we're making adjustments to the referee development pathway. We're looking to introduce a game leader referee module. We're also working on education around 7v7 and 9v9 rules with the referee community, and we'll be continuing to foster their development through the OPDL. One of the great things about the OPDL and how the games will be staged is that we're going to be at one venue, which provides numerous benefits to the referee community, from appointments, from scouting, from assessing. So by having centralised venues is going to be a wonderful benefit to the referee development team, and that's what we're working hard to ensure there's even better opportunities offered to referees.
I saw a hand up just down here, so would you just go to the mic for me?
Yes, Bill McLaughlin, Auto South United. First of all, congratulations on the process itself. I thought it was very professionally handled, so kudos to whoever came up with that. And the execution, I thought, was perfect. Looking at some general information on the RFP itself, how many submissions did the OSA receive? And what was the geographical distribution of the submissions?
I can address that. The whole assessment process by the committee is a confidential process. We won't be releasing any of the number of applications that were received, and with respect to geographical relationships, we have 5 regions covered across this great province. So that's the information that we're willing to share at this point.
Any other points from the floor? Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak to members of the panel. It's all gone deathly quiet, which is probably a good thing. Oh. Gentleman on the move at the back, please continue.
Sorry to see.
Question for Alex. Alex, what programs will be developed for players who choose not to leave their non-OPDL clubs?
So, thank you, Anthony, and a great question. We're making a lot of changes over the past 2 years that tax-driven with the implementation of long-term player development. So we've started with the grassroots, and as you all know, we've made huge inroads there, and we're now really continuing to help the transition of programming there within the wider club community. This is the start of the talent pathway, the OPDL, where we've got a group of licence holders and partners that we're going to work together with in regard to the high performance side of sport and also our programming above that will start to adjust to meet the needs of the new requirement. The Soccer for Life side is all of our competitive and recreational programming outside of that. So there's a lot of work going on currently, and we've passed motions that are going to help improve the standard of competition with our league providers, changes we're making to district and regional competition to ensure that competition is actually enhanced and improved for organisations that unfortunately haven't come through the process at this time. But I will remind the unsuccessful candidates at this opportunity, the window opens again in 2 years' time, and a really important, I think something that's incumbent upon us as an organisation is to assist those other organisations that haven't met the standard this time round to ensure they're in a position in 2 years' time to come forward with a successful application. So that's also something that we'll be working very diligently with the organisations that haven't come forward on this occasion.
Thanks, Alex. Any other thoughts? Yes, sir. Please step up to the mic.
Yes, hello. Richard Harold, Unionville Milliken Soccer Club. First of all, congratulations to all the successful applicants. And I used to work at IBM, and there was a saying there in the lab, the pioneers are the ones face down on the ground with the arrows in their backs. But that was a different philosophy and a different organization. Keeping in mind, though, that this is going to be the first year next year for this venture, and the ramp up to it, what kind of support can we expect from the league? For instance, on a very elemental level, when will we start receiving material from the league, agendas, timelines? What can we expect in that regard?
You know, great question. And so we've just gone through the assessment and selection component. So we now move into a new phase, which is around sort of league management, league operations. So there's a licensing agreement, very important document, technical operations manual that are very close to being completed. So we'll be working very hard to have those within your hands within the next couple of weeks, quickly followed by the first orientation workshop towards the middle of the end of October. So we'll be setting that date very shortly and be in touch with all of you, and you'll receive those documentations in advance of that meeting. And again, we'll just continue to implement our plan as we have done with all the other necessary steps that we need to take, ensure that this league delivers everything that it's promised.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Any other? Yes, sir. Please step up to the mic.
Nick Ramundo from Vaughan Soccer Club. Great job from all the members on the committee. A question, and maybe that'll be forthcoming. When we did the RFPs, there was for OPDL and reserve, and I'm not sure how with the 18 now. Would you be able to say that there will be? It helps the club from standpoint of opening up and then knowing what numbers that they're looking at. Is it 36, 32, 43, 48? If there's no reserve team, then that might change.
Can't confirm whether a reserve league will be implemented at this point. That's part of us now moving into league operations. But when we come in for that first workshop, all of that information will be confirmed for licence holders.
Thank you, sir. I hope that answered your question. Gentleman making his way to the microphone, I think. Maybe to the bathroom, but I think it's to the microphone. I hope it's to the microphone. Otherwise, I misjudged you, sir.
No. Hi, my name is Sal from Vaughan Soccer. This is a question for Mr. Fonseca. As you can see, Ontario has taken that step with the OPDL. I was just kind of wondering, is there a 5-year plan or down the road where other provinces will be forming an equivalent type of league where, you know, we start marrying the country and developing not only a super Ontario league as we've done, as the OSA has done, but more on a national basis where Quebec and BC and Alberta and all these other provinces will have an OPDL type of league.
That's a great question. Yes, for sure. I mean, we had previous TDs meetings with all the provincial, the provincial TDs, and obviously they all share, and they all been aware of the technical plan moving forward. And one of the ideas that we wanted to implement in Canada is one league that will allow players to develop under the same guidance. Obviously, BC has started one. This is going to be his third year of operations. And Ontario just now, and Quebec already have a league, and that needs probably to be tweaked a little bit. But definitely those steps are being made, and other provinces are looking into it, and see if it's feasible. As we all know, Canada is very unique, and not one a scenario will fix the whole problem. So every province is different. So we're trying to bring it across to everyone, and hope that most of them could come and contribute with this concept, and put in place a league that one day will lead us to success.
Thank you.
Time for maybe a couple more questions. If anybody feels the urge, perhaps now is the time to do it. Don't be shy. Anybody? I've got a question for Tony, actually. Just carrying on the point there. From a Canadian Soccer Association perspective, actually having a standards-based league, and these are young boys, they're 13 years of age or thereabouts. How does that translate? Because you've got to get them young, and then you, perhaps more importantly, you've got to keep them in the system. So what the Ontario Soccer Association is doing is certainly a start, but then at some point they kind of transfer the responsibility, I guess, to the CSA, and you have to keep those boys and girls interested and integrated into the sport through their later teenage years. How are you going to do that, Tony?
That's an easy answer. We all know that in Canada we only have 3 MLS clubs, 2 now join into PDL or CSL, and definitely for me, we without a doubt we need more professional environments. We need more environments where the athletes are exposed to the load of work and the technical per se help that will allow us to develop and get to the point that we have developed a pool of players that are going to be able to compete at international stages. Definitely, the leagues like OSL right now putting in place, it's a step just below the professional environments. We definitely need those environments because right now we have a gap. We have a professional environment and we have community football. And now the league coming up with this concept, it will help players to transit from recreational to this league and then professional environments. And that's exactly what we're trying to build. And over a number of years, the flux of players graduating from those leagues will create a demand for something else. So either we believe it or we don't believe it, that flux of players will demand something better, and that will be in place. That's the goal. The goal is not creating something that we want to create, but we want to create something in a solid foundation that will require us to move forward and create different environments and provide different environments. It's not our desire, it will be the desire of the players, the athletes graduating from those leagues, that will force us to develop as well. So as we all know, professional environments are one part of the equation, but below that, it's our job, it's our duty to actually provide those environments, equip those players with the necessary tools to be successful at the highest level. We should have a big important role in the future of those athletes, and this is one step towards that direction. Does it make sense?
Made perfect sense to me. Alex, perhaps you can address this. What about scouting, spotting, keeping players and developing those players? How does that scenario play into the OPDL?
Yeah, thanks, Nigel. So player movement is something that has been talked about for many years in this province, and player movement is very important for us with the OPDL. Ensuring that the top talent throughout the province move to OPDL environments because it's there where we've got to create a system that looks after the majority, not the minority. So over time, if players aren't in these environments that are providing the environment Tony's just alluded to, 11-month Paradise Plan, a meaningful regular competition over a 28-week schedule with the appropriate technical qualified staff around them and organisational structures to support. The likelihood is they won't progress to be able to be a Christine Sinclair, a Dwayne De Rosiero, a Tiva Hutchison in years to come. So it's very important that players move into these environments. Knowing that this is a huge transition for the association, we need to allow a period of bedding in. So we still need to monitor the players that we identify now and see that movement into these OPDL organisations. So for a year, we will allow a little bit of identification outside, but after that, we really need to see players come into the OPDL environments because this is where they will get the progression and the support they need to progress on into national environments, national age group squads, and then ultimately professional environments and senior men's and women's teams.
Alex, thank you. One more from me, and I think we're probably done. Ron, one for you. Talk a little bit about expansion in time. We start with 18. Where are we going to get to in 3, 4, 5 years' time?
Well, one age group per year over the next 3 to 4 years, building up to 2018, if my math is correct. And as such, we'll build it as demand is there. The important process from my perspective is the 18 organizations here are the pioneers to take this game forward. We've got great technical, we've got great organizational structure, and we've got great leadership within the 18 organizations that are here present today, and all the others who obviously are going to step back, reevaluate their situation, and step forward for the next cycle, which will be in 2016. So I see tremendous growth. I see tremendous opportunities for our athletes, whether at the recreational level or at a in-between or a higher level. Obviously now when an athlete enters the Ontario Soccer Association or plays the game for the first time, they'll actually start to see some alignment of where they can excel to. So yes, growth will continue. Unity will obviously be an issue going forward. We'll work to that. And I look forward to being here with the OSA in many, many years to come, whatever capacity I'm in, to see continued growth. This is a historic moment. Nothing like this at the OSA has ever happened.
Thank you, Ron. Any other thoughts before we adjourn? I'm going to bang my gavel, you know. Yes, please, Tony. Of course you can.
I would like to share with you, this is a great opportunity, and being in Ontario, I think it will be probably not wise if I don't share some of the things that we have done, from our point of view, in CSA point of view, and youth development. I think, we lack of sometimes expose ourselves and say and deliver the message the way we want. And I'm going to take the liberty, to take away a little bit, from the highlights of the great thing that is happening here today, to brief you on what CSA and the youth development system has created in terms of national teams. Okay, for the first time in many, many years, I think, in CSA's existence, we have in 2013 21 youth events. 21. Never done before. We have created a U15 national team. We have a U18 national team, along with our U17 World Cup team, and our U20, and our Olympic team. So we're definitely moving in the right direction. In 2014 is our objective to also have a number of identification camps. As we all know by now, we basically have to move away from NTCs, but we did not move away from high performance. We just want to make sure that you understand that in this role of developing players, we're counting with you. You are very important, and we respect you, and that's the reason we moved away from NTCs. Every one of you has huge responsibility in youth player development, and we trust you. We trust the quality of the people involved in soccer in this country. So again, reinforcing everything, I want to tell you that I believe that we do have the raw material. I believe that we have the knowledge to take the soccer in this country to a different level. I believe in you. Otherwise, I would not done this. I believe it. And the talent is definitely in Canada. Let's put the number of hours necessary. Let's create the environments that they needed, the players needed to excel. And if we do that, it will just be a question of time. We will get there. Believe me, we will get there. If we work together, egos aside, power aside, without footballers, there's no football. And it's our duty to give them the best of our ability every day to make that happen. Please mark my words, and I don't want to take it away from this great day. It's fantastic. I'm happy as a kid in a kindergarten. Because see this happen, it's huge for us. Because it happens all over the world. That's the only way you can actually move forward. With quality environments, quality people, delivering every day what needs to be delivered to those keen kids that want to excel. Thank you.
Tony, Alex, Ron, Lisa, thank you so much. Oh, I believe we have one more question. Is that Paul there at the back?
Hi, Nigel. I couldn't let proceedings end without having a word in, obviously. I just wanted to make a comment more than a question. Obviously, it's very difficult for the people on the stage today to acknowledge themselves. But I was in the room that was referred to earlier when a number of members, a number of clubs got together several years ago and decided collectively, what if we could have a league that would be standards-based, where coach education and coaching excellence was the cornerstone of that league and how it was developed. And those ideas were put to Ron Smell and the leadership of the OSA, and they immediately embraced that. And that's a bold thing to do. And I think the fact we're all here today is because the leadership at this table here today listened to that group of organizations and individuals and acted with very, very bold leadership. And the second thing I'd like to say is, this is the first league I've seen in any sport where we now have intrinsically club community soccer at the highest level, intrinsically part of the provincial and regional development program at a high performance level. And that's quite a privilege and an honor for the organizations that are here today to be accepted into that. Normally that doesn't happen. Normally high performance is kept separate from community soccer, and the players are taken out of their club environments and trained in a different system altogether. But the OSA is taking a very, very bold step here today. They are embracing these 18 organizations and inviting them into the development of Ontario's top youth soccer players in partnership not only with the OSA, but with Tony and the CSA. So that's a big, big step, and that's beneficial for everyone. It's beneficial for the clubs, it's beneficial for the players who can continue to train in their club environments, and it's hugely beneficial for the coaches who will have the chance to graduate from community soccer coaches to genuine high-performance coaches. So I commend the OSA, I commend the people at the table who I have seen put in countless hours over the last 2 years to be here today. It's bold leadership, and you're to be commended for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. That concludes the formal proceedings. That's adjourned to the lobby. Why don't we?